Again, everyone, I wanted to tell you about what happened to the Toronto chart. I talked about it yesterday in my show, and I used the chart a few days ago, and they scrubbed it, and somebody did a whole thread on them scrubbing it. So Millhouse, Van Houten, everybody loves Millhouse except Lisa. Sorry, Millhouse. Okay, but he says the city of Toronto and Toronto Public Health are burying data on COVID-19 deaths and hospitalizations. He's not wrong. It is now nearly impossible for someone to account for the dates of the 1,178 deaths in Toronto as done below. Is it because there have only been 3 deaths since August 1st? And Millhouse has been inundating Twitter with sourced charts just like this showing the deaths and the... I'll get me out of the way so we can see the whole chart. Showing the deaths and the deaths and the case episodes by date, and it's all plotted nicely, and you can see the second wave here doesn't have any deaths near comparable to the first wave, right? The deaths are in the red on the bottom. And well, that's notable. And I guess Toronto Public Health didn't like that, and I'll show you parts of the video where I count through the summer deaths, and there are 3. Right? So here we go. Or the second tweet in the thread, he goes, there used to be a graph of cases and deaths by date, but that has been removed and replaced with this daily status that only explains the current status and change from the day before. And here's the live link. This is the same link I used to get to my, to get to this. I'll show you this in just a minute. But this is the old chart, right? Oh, it's still interactive. If you're a data scientist and you want a place to park this chart, I would love to help you out. So send me a communication request and or contact me, and let's get this chart back up somewhere because I've got web space, and if you've got the know-how to put this chart together, like a live updating chart, I don't have the wherewithal. I don't have the knowledge base to do that. Not in the short term. I haven't thought about it. Maybe. Okay, anyway, back to this. So this is the new chart, which is absolute trash comparatively. And there's a picture of it. There is a graph, but it only charts cases. Deaths have been removed from the graph. And you can see that too. The monitoring dashboard offers an Excel download option, but deaths are not included. Hospitalization data is limited to a 7-day moving average. So you can never, if you don't get the data every day, you can't go back and get it, right? The Excel report no longer includes data on the deaths or hospitalizations by actual date. One must find the data buried deep within, where it's organized by week rather than by date. Up until last week, this data was available by date, even with a reporting lag. And I replied there. On the plus side, the hospital system capacity data is helpful. It is misleading, however, in that there's no mention of the percent capacity occupied by COVID-19 patients. With only 25 patients in the ICU in all of Ontario, that percent is likely minuscule. And I agree with him, and he's got a link to the chart as well. And so here's me counting down. Oh, look at that. Inception. Okay, I'll go like this. Here's me counting down the deaths of the summer, and I'll just, I'll mute myself, and here we go. And down here you can hover, and this is deaths, okay? July 1st, we were at 1,159 deaths, or this is July 2nd. And as you go through July, you can see the deaths increasing, and then kind of stall out, right? 1,175 on July 17th, July 18th, excuse me, is where we start to see a really big slowdown in deaths. And then you move forward, and there's not another death until the 29th. And then again, not another death until August 16th, I believe that is. And then not another death until August 28th. And then not another death. Not another death. So, that seems, like an emergency. Like, we should shut everything down right away. Oh, my microphone. Not so much, right? Not so much of an emergency, and yet that's exactly what we are doing. I wanted to show you this because plank 1, okay, let's do a little prepper here. Plank 1, here we go.
So part 1 of the government's plan is to launch what it calls the largest flu immunization campaign in the province's history to try.
A few days ago when they announced this plan, I thought, this is tickling my brain. Something tells me that's a bad idea. That doesn't feel right to me. That doesn't seem like the right solution here. But I couldn't figure out what until I came across this. Do you remember early on what was it called? Vaccine interference. The vaccine interference study with the military the group of military people, right? Influenza vaccine, military study shows 36% higher odds of coronavirus 2017-18. Here's the study, PubMed, okay? So you can have a look. But here's the quick kind of the write-up of it, okay? So this is from disabledveterans.org, but I've got this study here. It's a little dry, so I'm just going to use this. A recent military study shows military personnel evaluated who received the flu vaccine were 36% higher odds of testing positive for the coronavirus, with varied benefit in preventing some strains of flu. The flu vaccine study demonstrated varied benefit in flu prevention. Some strains showed significant benefits, while others did not. So flu prevention, fine, but 36% potential increased chance to getting a coronavirus, right? Specifically a coronavirus. Sorry, this jumped down on me. So examining non-influenza viruses, specifically the odds of both coronavirus and human metapneumonia virus in vaccinated individuals was significantly higher when compared to unvaccinated individuals. The flu vaccine study demonstrated varied benefit in flu. Okay, I said that right. Here's the table. And here it says flu vaccine interference, what it is. Paraphrased, the study highlights the value of the human body's ability to fight against viruses. Apparently, by contracting influenza, the body naturally may reduce the risk of non-influenza respiratory viruses. Due to the flu vaccine's interference with the naturally occurring biological process, there may be an increased risk of non-influenza virus. So that's what vaccine interference is, right? And here's a quote. While influenza virus offers protection against influenza, natural influenza infection may reduce the risk of non-influenza respiratory viruses by providing temporary, non-specific immunity against these viruses. On the other hand, recently published studies have described the phenomenon of vaccine-associated virus interference. That is, vaccinated individuals may be at increased risk for other respiratory viruses because they do not receive the non-specific immunity associated with natural infection. So does this seem like a good idea to you? Oops, wrong video. Does this strategy seem like the right one? It seems like directly the wrong strategy, doesn't it? Hold on, we'll just play this one more time. The government's
flu immunization campaign in the province's history to try and stop the combination of COVID and the flu from overwhelming hospitals.
Okay, but doesn't immunizing against flu increase the risk by virus interference? So having this massive flu shot campaign seems like a dumb idea. Here's another one: increased risk of non-influenza respiratory virus infections associated with receipt of inactivated influenza vaccine. This is a different study from 2012. I'm not going to go into this. I'm just asking the question, and it seems like we're making the wrong move again, right? It seems like, well, it seems like the NDP's decision to prop up those liberals while not holding them accountable for anything, right? Like, oh, well, they promised to spend. And I know I just said that I didn't believe them because they promise a lot and they don't deliver. 2 billion trees, 25% off your cell phone contract. But this time, says the NDP, they'll definitely do it. We're going to help them do it. Yeah, sure. So why the wrong-headed response? Why the scrubbing of the graph? Why the no discussion of the low deaths? And instead you just try and hide it with the scrubbing of the graph. Please do reach out and help me. Let's get this graph back up. Let's get this mapped and easy for people to see. Even if we can recreate this graph with this data, we've got this data. Let's do this. Let's at least get this up and we can share it. Maybe I'll try anyway, just to get this graph back up. But man, it's insidious because they are peeing on your leg and telling you that it's raining. And if you question whether or not it's raining, you are a Nazi while they put up their fist. Right? It's an incredible world we live in. Pay attention. The world might just pass you by, right? Thanks for watching, everybody. Ask the questions. Send people the questions, right? Ford Nation, City of Toronto, Toronto Public Health. These are the people who need to be held accountable. Call these people. Ask them what they're doing. Why do they not want the people in Toronto informed? Why do they not want the public, the politicians informed? Why is Doug Ford not reacting to this data and instead just hiding it? It's really odd, unless he doesn't work for us. Thanks for watching, everybody. Check out CanadaPoly.com, check out CanadaReport.co, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.